Welcome to Your Soul's Therapist podcast. I'm your host, Vlada de Sousa. This show is on a mission to offer you a space to understand yourself more deeply, expand your worldview, heal your heart, and elevate your energy. If you're looking for safe and grounded tools to support your healing journey, then this show is for you. I hope you enjoy today's episode. So we are in December and our year is slowly coming to a close. And some of us might be feeling really tired and drained from this 12 months and just looking for some leisure time with family, friends. And some of us might be feeling a little bit more reflective and contemplative and asking already oneself question, like, how can I make another year, the one that is coming, maybe a little bit more exciting or more grounded or more fulfilling for me, or who I want to be in the year that is coming. So I feel like will be a really nice topic, the topic of change, as kind of coming to a close of this year. Because every time we are about to transition, something is ending and something is beginning. It's almost like we are entering into a new cycle of our life. And definitely we want to leave behind all the burdens, all the struggles, all our problems, and we want, easy year, happy year, more fulfilling moments, more success, more joy in our life. Now, what I really feel I want to reveal to you today, it will be quite big and quite important. And I don't really know if this information is on the surface or this information is something that we intuitively already know within us. So I'm very excited to show you my perspective on the topic of change, whether that's change that is internal, when we are looking for something to change inside us, maybe forgive someone, maybe feel more brave, or maybe feel more secure, or maybe make better decisions or choices, or have willpower to make our own decisions and choices. So there is this inner change that I observe people are longing for and looking for. And also there is this life change that we also can be looking for, even if we feel within we are in harmony and everything is in alignment. But I really don't understand why my life is not satisfying, why I'm stuck at this place or this relationship or this job. And I want this change. I was something to change in my life, or I don't want to be single anymore, or I don't want to be, married anymore. However that looks like for you, there is this two dimensions of change, inner and outer. And through my experience of guiding people through change, basically what I do, I welcome people on the verge of change, or when they have made a decision that they want something to change, whether that's internal or external. I welcome them and I sit with them and I guide them through this change. The change is a big topic. And let's try to dissect how this happens, or why it might not happen, or why change takes too long, or things just don't change. And we are getting quite already anxious about that. So to have change happen, whether that's change inside or outside, what needs to be in place is alignment between the soul and the mind, Or we can say in internal family systems language, we need to have parts of us, and usually that's protective parts of us, on board with our self or with our intuition, our inner knowing, our inner guidance. That aspect of us that is not a part, and that aspect of us, I meant for more. I want to be experiencing peace. I want to live in love. To successfully facilitate change, we need the mind parts to be supportive, not resisting, on board, in alignment together with our soul or with our self. And that is the biggest question, how to achieve that alignment. To understand how to achieve the alignment between the mind and the soul, we need to understand what creates misalignment, what's not working, where is there split, where there is conflict inside of us. And I want to give you a few interesting examples. So let's imagine you want to go on the retreat and spend this amount of days doing whatever will be offered to you in that retreat. And you believe that you will work hard, something will change inside, and then your life will change as well. In practice, as someone who has been hosting transformational retreat for years, in reality, it's not that simple. The simple fact that we sign up for something, whether that's working with a therapist or coach, whether that's a retreat, in reality just symbolizes that there is a part of us that really sees the inner conflict and really sees that we are stuck somewhere and makes an action. Google something, Google holistic healing, therapy, retreats, transformational retreats, and goes, right? And signs up and goes for it. So this action is taken by we would call a manager part of us that sees that we are unfulfilled. Something's not working. It's been too long. I've been too long at this place in life. No matter my effort, no matter how hard I work, things seem to be at the same place. So when, for example, I receive people in my one-on-one sessions or retreats, I know exactly who brought them here. And usually it's not a self-led decision. Usually it's a manager decision that really thinks things are not working. Things are stuck. Let's go. Let's do this work. Let's sign up for this amazing program, this transformational journey, and finally break through. And these managers, they're really trying hard to get us out of that stuck place or a place that we feel it's not where we're meant to be. It's not how we're meant to feel, right? So what this manager really is seeing is this internal conflict between the soul that wants to have loving, fulfilling relationship or interest in exciting career that is bringing financial gains or creative projects. Internally, we want to go to a place of fulfillment, peace, love, contentment. And for some reason, there are blockages on the way. There are blockages within us. We might not be decisive. We might not, move forward. Something might be keeping us stuck in places where we know we have outgrown. And there is this tension. There is this internal battle between the soul and the mind. I just want to pause here for a moment and let you know that if you feel called to go deeper on your healing journey and you need someone safe, someone who can truly support you, I'd love to invite you to explore my signature program, Untangle, or my one-to-one retreats and private healing work. You will find all the details in the show notes or on my website, vladadesousa.com. Don't be shy. You're always welcome to connect with me in person through a complimentary call. And now, back to the episode. So when we want to understand how to marry the soul and marry the mind, the first thing we do, we understand the mind. Because where the soul is coming from is very clear. The soul wants us fulfilled, wants us in a better place in life, longs for connection. But the mind, and very, very often, it's very deeply seated set of fears, doubts, limiting beliefs, subconscious type of restrictions or blockages that even on a superficial level, our rational mind might not understand. We might ask ourselves, but why? Why am I still doing this? Or why am I still in this dynamic? Why? I don't know what keeps me stuck, what keeps me not moving anywhere, anytime. So what we call mind or parts, it can go way, way, way deeper than our rational mind. And that is what we call unconscious, subconscious. It's the layers of thoughts that are usually not on the surface. And that is the challenging part, because for us, ourselves, to be able to find, uncover, and identify those hidden fears, hidden limiting beliefs, hidden resistance, I don't know anyone who can do it. It might happen just as an insight. You might just be having a cup of tea and then out of nowhere, boom, and you got it. You got something. You got, oh, but I believe if I change, no one will love me. It might come as an insight, but overall, what is in our subconscious, it's so challenging to get it out of our subconscious on our own. That's why even if you're reading books, even if you're watching, things, it's still a very challenging process to get to that place of internal stuckness on our own. And that's why we need someone who will show us with a lot of patience and a lot of persistence the way, right? So it's very hard to do it, this type of thing on our own. So now let's take a moment and see one example. And this one example might look like you're seeking change, inner or outer, and you are deciding to work with someone on that. Okay, so finally you think, I'm going to sign up for this and it will take me somewhere. Not necessarily. And in the beginning of my career, sometimes it was a little bit sad for me. And I thought maybe I did something wrong. Maybe I didn't deliver. Maybe I don't know enough. And I should use more forceful techniques and push people. But in reality, change might be extremely unsafe idea for our inner world. And even though you have an army on one side that is saying, it's time to change, it's time to change, it's time to change, and managers that take in actions, what might be sitting as a blockage is parts of us that have a very deep and very hidden understanding and idea about what change can do to us. So I want to give you an example of someone I worked with, and that person is in her 70s. And she shared with me that she had very difficult childhood, and all her life she spent time, investment, did every possible thing, every possible modality, but things still feel truly hard. And she's still looking for that transformation. She's still looking for that change. So as I sat with her, obviously I need to understand if after all these years and all this effort and attempt, things are still stuck. I need to know why. Why other approaches, therapies, modalities, and all that work that the person didn't really make a change. And as we sat down, I raised the question, why do you think we're still here? Why do you think everything was done, but the struggle is there, the stuckness is there? And what right away became visible to us is a part that says, if I heal, and if I change, and if I will be whole and complete, people will leave me. They will not love me. They will not take care of me. They will abandon me. Of course, it has to do with a story. Of course, it has to do with childhood. But just this one thing, that when we are immediately want to open the door and make all those changes, because we know exactly what's the problem, but we do not ask these parts, what are you afraid might happen if you heal? What are you afraid might happen if you change? And we don't really investigate this hidden layer of subconscious. No matter how many years, how many therapists, how hard you will try to do something, it's just not going to work. And the parts are very powerful, and they can block therapy. They can block plant medicine. They can block anything and everything from really going deep under your skin. Any therapist that might want to impact you in a certain way. Another story here. Very briefly, I worked with someone, and every time we go into meditation and I ask that person to close eyes and I start guiding that person into this inner world, the person says, I don't remember anything. It's black. I shut down. My mind starts wandering about other things. I go somewhere else. I cannot focus on what you're saying. I cannot follow the meditation. I can do only meditation on my own. And then she shared a story that once, when she was very little, there was like a circus or was some kind of event, and there was a person that was doing hypnosis. And that person wanted to hypnotize her. And it didn't feel safe. It didn't feel right. So a part of her, a protector, blocked that person from ability to hypnotize her. And meaning her system shut itself down from anyone trying to get in, anyone trying to change something, anyone trying to impact her. And until that day, the protection was still there, and anyone who would try to guide that person somewhere, impact their unconscious, subconscious, or conscious, or do any kind of this hypno work, the protection will kick in, and meditation will fail, and all the attempts will fail. So I want to say that there might be a very real reason to ask your therapist to explore with you hidden parts that might have resistance to healing and might have resistance to change. I have seen so many people doing everything they possibly can resulting in absolutely minimal impacts. And with time, when you know there is this person that you heal them, you tell them, you explain them, they go to therapy, on and on and on, but it is what it is, and nothing seems to move. That is a sign that there is a part that says change is not safe. And that part might have different perspective on what not safe might look like. For example, if you deeply know in your heart, I deserve more, I can reach for the stars, I, in fact, can be a very successful person. And no matter how hard you work, if you even do everything right, you get the right education, you do all the right things, something is not moving and something is not changing. There might be a part of you that believes or is afraid that if you will become the only one successful person in your family, everyone will be envious, jealous, and will turn away from you. I know thousands of stories like that. So healing and our idea about healing and desire to heal is one thing. And parts of us that wants to keep status quo, that believe if we heal, something bad is going to happen, or that change is not safe, or that change is not good for us, they might stumble and make everything stuck forever. So before moving forward in your change and transformation, first address these hidden forces who in your inner world might not think this is a good idea. And it's so heartbreaking because I've seen people really being disappointed in all this healing practice, in all the therapy and therapists, just disappointed, saying, but it will never work. I tried, I did everything, and nothing works. I feel a lot of compassion because I know how hard they tried. And also, we must ask ourselves, let's be curious why nothing worked and why things still where they are. And from my experience, in all this picture comes very interesting factor, which we would call self-like part. So we have different types of protectors in our system. We have protectors that just might say, for example, yeah, if you change, your family might not accept you anymore. Or if you will eat healthy and lose weight and be so active, people might turn away from you or start picking on you. This really definitely happened to me. The moment I stopped drinking alcohol, changed my diet, I became everyone's target for jokes and picking on me, and it was really painful. So just this subconscious things can be hidden from our rational and our awareness, but these protectors might be there. What is self-like part? I would say self-like part is a feeling like it's me, a feeling like it's us, but in fact, it's a huge, big protector. And usually the self-like parts are the ones that wish us well, are the ones that want to help us, and also are the ones that really controlling every little step we take and every little move we make. For example, I might sit with someone and someone is sharing, this and this is my challenge and I really want to change it. And as I'm starting supporting this person or taking them somewhere, I start to notice there is a feeling in the room like they want the session actually to end. And then I start noticing, they start changing the time, rescheduling, forgetting to book their session, disappearing, finding reasons why they can't come. They are always tired and exhausted before our sessions, or they just feel like they are collapsing. This is not random, and I'm always very attentive to this. And usually this is a self-like part. It's a part that basically raised us from very young age and protected us from harm and gave us what we needed and helped us to grow into ourselves. But still, it has a very, very big authority in the system. In fact, this self-like part might not even know there is self, might not even recognize that there is our self, and think that I am the self. And for these parts, everything can be very suspicious. And when they start seeing, oh, there is this person wants to do some changes, there's this person wants to impact us. And even if, the self-like part even hired you or even, brought you to the therapy or your retreat, the same part might think, getting suspicious and what we're going to do, how this change will impact. Are we going to be feeling worse? Is our life going to change? And the self-like part that feels like it's me start acting in various ways and blocks the process. Really does. So when I start noticing all these cues, something's not working, no matter what we do, it's not happening, there is some kind of excuses, the process feels a bit chaotic and messy, or I feel like this person really can't see through the session. I know their self-like part has questions. Their self-like part really doesn't want to let anything new or unfamiliar inside, and really doesn't trust the therapist to do something to them, really doesn't trust the therapist to change something in them and take care of all those parts that this self-like part has been taking care of all that life. So here you have huge piece of information and huge piece of insight. And just this alone can, if you really start right there. If you really find subconscious resistances, your self-like parts that are suspicious about therapists, that are suspicious about practices, that are not feeling safe in doing any new modalities, start there. Do not go and try to facilitate change. Address and work with protectors. Unless protectors feel safe that the therapist will do something, that you will do something, it's not accessible. The system will not take us anywhere. So sometimes when I welcome someone to work with me and we have all this agenda, what we want to do, how we want to improve them, what we want to change, sometimes it takes months and years just to work with self-like part, just to work with powerful protectors, for them to feel safe, to allow us to go deeper and to facilitate change or to facilitate healing. You're welcome. Take it and use it. Use it consciously. And do not get frustrated if your protective system needs a long time to relax and a long time to trust. That means your protective system really trying very hard to be there for you, really feels the world is dangerous, people is dangerous, change is dangerous. Let's just keep everything safe, 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 safe as it is. We will start with having compassion for them and how much fear they have experienced or how much trauma they have experienced. And that usually is the reason why they are actually at the end so protective. So we learn to love our protectors. We learn to nurture our protectors. We learn to gain trust from our protectors. And that's not an easy ride. Protectors don't relax just like this. They do not let go their position just like this. It takes time for them to trust you. It takes time for them to trust therapists. It takes time. So before anything you do, before you attempt to change anything, before you invest in something, do this. Do a deeper clearing work and address all parts, and especially self-like parts, to check with them if they're really ready for change, if they're really ready to heal, if they're really ready to have a new life, to feel differently. Let's hear from them first. So there is our own system, our own protectors that might have problems with change. And that's one topic. The other thing that I really want to record a separate episode where I will go deeper into it, but it's the burdens. And normally it is legacy burdens. What is a legacy burden? Legacy burden is when something happened to your family, for your mother, father, grandmother, grandfather, and to their grandmother. For example, World War, Holocaust, any big dramatic event in the past that impacted someone in your lineage. And you haven't even been there, you haven't even been born. It could be 2, 3, 500 years ago. What your ancestors might have experienced and how they were wired because of that experience might be something that you carry inside of you too, and which is very often I meet, and we call that legacy burdens. So this is not really your part. It is an old energy. Usually it's fear that we receive because, in our childhood, we basically swim in the soup of energy of our parents, how they react to things, how they respond to things, how they feel about everything. And so we absorbing their belief system, their fears, their doubts, their hesitations. We also absorb their qualities like courage and resilience and all these things. And that's called legacy heirlooms. But legacy burdens is even more subtle thing. And it's so rare when on a classic therapy you can find something like a legacy burden. Usually just try to analyze and understand the template, how the mind works. But legacy burdens is a very, very big and huge topic that is very, very rare when someone goes with you to that level. So these burdens that are not even yours might be one of huge reasons why over and over again you face the same blockage in something and things just not moving anywhere. Very often I hear from women. There might be a part of them that wants to get married and have a family. And there's another part of them that says, no, let's work on career. Let's study more. Let's be self-sufficient. Let's be independent. Let's not depend on men. Let's not have kids because it attaches us to men and things like that. So when we start discussing this polarity, I want to get married and have family, but I'm also really feel that I need to be independent and not attached to anyone. Very often what comes in the process is the part of them that absorbed bad experience of our women in the lineage that were used as a tool, just giving birth, men disrespecting her, men not giving her love. She's just a tool for sex, procreation, getting, a lot of kids. And usually this woman, they don't have status, they don't have power, they cannot leave, they have to submit, they have to suppress themselves, and they just have to work hard for the husband and for everyone in the family. So our ancestral experience of being treated this way, of being put in this situation, absolutely will be impacting her daughters. And her daughters will probably, grow up. One daughter may grow up with a feeling like, this is the only way and I have to submit and I have to be a tool. And another daughter might pick up on the rage and the decision. I will never, never be in the same position. Both are the burdens, right? It just depends on which energy we really pick up. And so when I sit with this type of women and we discover, oh, there is this experience that not even mine, that my grandmother was carrying, that getting married and having kids will entrap me, will make me powerless, and will make me a tool, and I will be suffering. So no. So even though all of us want love, connection, a family, these parts might say no. Another example is, from times of war and lack, and it's in relation maybe to also the power dynamics. We absorb beliefs from our ancestors, for example, in communist countries like China or Soviet Union. You couldn't say your opinion. If you would express your opinion openly, probably you would be in trouble. So you need to silence yourself. You need to, not talk, not say anything, not speak. And that will keep you safe. So today I work with people that say, I don't know why, but I just cannot say anything. I cannot express myself. I cannot say my truth. And then we start looking at it and we discover, oh, my ancestors would have been killed for this type of thing if they would say something like this. So this old part that carries that old energy is still protecting them from being killed or thrown into a jail forever. So when we really, really, really get curious about what everyone in our system feel and think about making a change, then we start meeting a lot of stuff that we might not even have ever thought is there. That's why there is a huge power in someone knowing how to work with the system, knowing how to work with protectors, and understanding epigenetics, understanding how we absorb trauma and our generational experiences, and someone who really knows how to work with that. So I will definitely create something about legacy burdens and give you more information on that. But I would really love today for you to start reflecting. Every time you attempt to make a change, what happens is there's a part of you coming forward and start saying, think about it twice, look at all the other options, pulls you out. Maybe you self-sabotage. Maybe you really want this person in your life, but then you're becoming very different. Your behavior changes and somehow you push that person away. Just start noticing how your system works, which places you feel, no matter how much effort and years you've tried to change, things are just where they are. And definitely share with me. I would really love to support you in this process. So, what actually we need before anything to facilitate inner change or outer change? First, we need to work with our protective system. We need to meet all our protectors. We need to get to know our self-like part. We need to address their fears and concerns. Work with all the protectors until they are fully feeling safe and ready to allow something to change. So we help protectors and we gain their trust, we gain their permission. For that thing, I just want to say that sometimes, there are very forceful techniques, even like hypnosis. Like hypnosis is like an intention of directly impacting your mind in order to change something. And that might not be, really safe for other parts. For example, definitely, I would absolutely not be up for any type of hypnosis because I wouldn't want anything, even with a good intention to impact my subconscious. So definitely I have a part that would block all that attempt. So the path to change is not rapid. It's not like you do this one practice, you book this session. It's not fast. The path to sustainable, deeply safe, and rooted change is in following your pace and having lots of patience to work with parts that are not ready for change before they are. And when all parts are ready for change, something immediately lands and something shifts. So, my friends, this is food for thought. I really wish people to have hope that even after years of trying to change themselves or something inside of them or change their life, there is still huge potential to do that. So never, never give up on yourself. And I hope what I shared with you will give you really good insights on where you can start. Okay? So work with your protective system first. And I do offer, and I like to offer this as the end and beginning of the next year, my signature process that is called Untangle, which consists of 10 one-to-one IFS based and energy healing sessions with me, where we understand which change is required and we work with your system to allow us to make that change. So for those of you who feel like I definitely want the next, chapter to look differently, reach out to me. You can go to my website, you can apply for Untangle, and it will be an honor to guide you. If you're off to holidays, I wish you beautiful holidays, and I wish to keep this connection and continue learning from each other and continue moving through life in the most healing and best way possible for us. Thank you so much for listening to this episode, and I'm sending you lots of love. Thank you for staying with me until the end. If you feel called to deepen this journey, you'll find everything you need in the show notes, including a link to a book complimentary call with me and more details about my work and today's guest. May you continue walk your path with clarity, courage, and self-led grace. Until soon.